herself on, and she clave all hearts with the arrows of her eyelashes, even as saith one who described a charmer like her. The sun of beauty she to sight appears, and lovely coy she mocks all loveliness. And when he affronts her favor and her smile, a morn the son of day in clouds must dress. Then she came forth in the fifth dress, a very light of loveliness like a wand of waving willow or a gazelle of the thirsty world. Those locks which stung like scorpions along her cheeks were bent, and her neck was bowed in blandishment, and her hips quivered as she went, as saith one of the poets describing her in verse. She comes like fullest moon on happy night, taper of waist with shape of magic might. She hath an eye whose glances quell mankind, and ruby on her cheeks reflects his light, and veils her hips the black of her hair. Beware of girls that bite with viper bite. Her sides are silken soft the while the heart, mere rock behind that surface lurks from sight. When round her neck or waist I throw my arms, her chest repels me with their hardened height. Then they adorned her with the sixth, a dress which was green. Her loveliness exalted the beauties of earth's four quarters, and she broke men's hearts by the significance of her semblance. For she was even as saith one of the poets in these lines, a damsel 'twas, the tear's heart had decked with snares and sleight, and robed in rays as though the sun from her had borrowed light. She came before us wondrous clad in green, as veiled by its leafy screen pomegranate hides from sight. And when he said, How callest thou the manner of thy dress? She answered us in pleasant way with double meaning dight. Then they displayed her in the seventh dress, colored between safflower and saffron, even as one of the poets saith, in vest of saffron pale and safflower red must stand told. She came to front. Rise, greater youth, go forth and show thyself. And when I craved about, her beauty said, Do, and said her pretty shame, Don't. Thus they displayed the bride in all her seven dresses before Hassan al-Basri, wholly neglecting the man who sat moping alone. And when she opened her eyes, she said, O Allah, make this man my goodman, and deliver me from the evil of this hunchbacked groom. As soon as they had made an end of this part of the ceremony, they dismissed the wedding guests who went forth, women, children, and all, and none remained, save Hassan and the hunchback, whilst the tired women led the bride into an inner room to change her garb and gear and get her ready for the bridegroom. Thereupon Quasimodo came up to Badr al-Din Hasan and said, O my lord, thou hast cheered us this night with thy good company and overwhelmed us with thy kindness and courtesy. But why not get thee up and go? Bismillah, he answered, in Allah's name so be it. And rising he went forth by the door where the Ifrit met him and said, Stay in thy stead, O Badr al-Din, and when the hunchback goes out to the closet of ease, go in without losing time, and seat thyself in the alcove. And when the bride comes, say to her, "'Tis I am thy husband." For the king devised this trick only fearing for thee the evil eye. And he whom thou sawest is but a groom, one of our stablemen. Then walk boldly up to her, was seized with a colic, and he sat down on the jakes in his clothes with teeth chattering and knocking together. Quoth the Ifrit, Is the world so strait to thee, thou findest none to marry save my lady love? But as he was silent, the Ifrit continued, Answer me, or I will do thee dwell in the dust. By Allah, he replied, O king of the buffaloes, this is no fault of mine, for they forced me to wed her. And verily, I wot not that she had a lover amongst the buffaloes. But now I repent first before Allah, and then before thee. Said the Ifrit to him, I swear to thee, that if thou fare forth from this place, or thou utter a word before sunrise, I assuredly will wring thy neck. When the sun rises, wend thy wind, and never more return to this house. So saying, the Ifrit took up the hunchback bridegroom, and set him head downwards and feet upwards in the slit of the privy, and said to him, I will leave thee here, but I shall be on the lookout for thee till sunrise. And if thou stir before then, I will seize thee by the feet and dash out thy brains against the wall. So look out for thy life. Thus far concerning the hunchback, but as regards Badir al-Din-Hasan of Basra, he left the hunchback, and the Ifrit jangled and wrangling, and going into the house, sat him down in the very middle of the alcove. And behold, in came the bride attended by an old woman who stood at the door and said, O father of uprightness, arise and take what God giveth thee. Then the old woman went away, and the bride, the lady of beauty height, entered the inner part of the alcove broken-hearted, and saying in herself, By Allah, I will never yield my person to him, no, not even were he to take my life. But as she came to the further end, she saw Badir al-Din-Hasan, and said, Dearling, art thou still sitting here? By Allah, I was wishing that thou wert my bridegroom, or at least that thou and the hunchbacked horse groom were partners in me. He replied, O beautiful lady, how should he share in thee with me? Then quoth she, Who is my husband, thou or he? Rejoined Hasan, We have not done this for mere fun, but only as a device to ward off the evil eye from thee. For when the dire women and singers and wedding guests saw thy beauty being displayed to me, they feared fascination, and thy father hired the horse groom for 10 dinars and meat to take the evil eye off us. Now he hath received his hire and gone his gait. When the lady of beauty heard these words, she smiled and rejoiced and laughed a pleasant laugh. Then she whispered him, By the Lord, thou hast quenched a fire which tortured me, and now by Allah, O my little dark-haired darling, take me to thee and press me to thy chest. Then she began singing, By Allah, set thy foot upon my soul, since long, long years for this alone I long, and whisper tale of love in ear of me, to me 'tis sweeter than the sweetest song. No other youth upon my heart shall lie, for do it often dear and do it long. Then he laid his hand under her head, and she did the same, and they embraced and fell asleep in each other's arms. As a certain poet said of such lovers in these couplets, Visit thy lovers, burn what envy told. No envious troll shall smile on love ensouled. Merciful Allah made no fairer sight than coupled lovers single couch doth hold. Just pressing just, and robed in choice their own, with pillowed forearms cast in finest mold. And when heart speaks to heart with tongue of love, folk who would part them hammer steel